Hey everyone, welcome. Hi Richard, Lester, Jeffrey. Oh, hey Kristen, Lori. Cool, we got a lot of people here. Welcome all. Feel free to turn your camera on, say hi. Or if you weren't expecting to be on camera, that's okay too. You can keep it off. We won't yell at you. Um, we're just gonna let everyone join, give them another minute. If you guys do have your mic's mute. Try to mute them so that we don't have a bunch of feedback. And if you guys want to share where you're working from, what kind of consulting you do, or if you're not consulting yet, what kind of consulting you're planning to do, that would be great. And we'll just give everyone one more minute. All right. So we have North Carolina, Dallas, Phoenix. Any New Jersey? I'm New Jersey. I never see New Jersey. Oh, I just saw New Jersey. I'm Princeton. Great. Hi, Brian. West Orange. Cool. Okay. I'm in Waldick. I'm near Ridgewood in Bergen County. And Catalina is in Mount Pleasant near Charleston, South Carolina. Hillsborough. Oh, we have a lot of New Jersey people today. Okay, cool. All right, we're gonna have people continue to join. Catalina's monitoring that. We've got Catalina on the call too. I'm Julia Devine, as you guys know. Another New Jersey. Great. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get started and go from there. Just give me one sec to share my screen. Oop. Here, gonna share, and then we're gonna go present, and then we're gonna go back. Cool. All right, everyone see that? We're good? Awesome. All right, guys, here we go. So you signed up today for a webinar, first one we've done in 6 months. So we're so excited. We've had over 200 people register for this. So we're thrilled to be sharing with you all something that we've been working on for the last couple weeks. We've been consulting for 5 years and supporting nonprofit consultants for over two now. And this is the first time that we really brought together everything that we've ever learned in one presentation. So we're so excited and we hope you guys enjoy and learn something from this hour. So we'll go through about 45, 50 minutes presentation. Please be active in the chat, of course, and we'll have time for questions at the end. So today's presentation is about stopping, piecing it together, and we're giving you our 5 foundations that every nonprofit consultant needs to build a sustainable business. So just to start, we're taking a wild guess here, but from our time building our business, our problem always was, and what we've seen with many other consultants, is that the biggest problem you're facing is information overload. If you're a consultant, you're out there feeling like a freelancer. There's not a whole lot of structure behind nonprofit consultants, and you're probably drowning in free advice. You've seen Instagram posts, LinkedIn posts, trainings, templates, podcast episodes. We listen to plenty, half-finished website drafts. You have a lot going on. You're trying to piece together how to build a business when there's really not a clear roadmap for how to do that, not a traditional agency model. Maybe you're building an online coaching business. There's just so many things that you want to do and you're not really sure how to do it. And we see that a lot of people still, years into consulting, still do not have the following things. They don't have a clear offer. They don't have strong pricing that makes sense for their client, their ideal client. They don't have a consistent way of getting clients. A lot of you are relying on referrals or some partnerships, but you don't have a pipeline that you can go to throughout the year and know where work is coming from. You don't have regular sales calls or regular sales call system or strategy. And sometimes, many times, we find that people are struggling to have quality client delivery systems. So let us know if you have all 5, or if you don't, tell us which one you know you still do not have in the chat. And I think I can see the chat. All of the above, says Tracy. that you do not have or you do? Number three, okay, great. No pipeline. Number three, okay, so a consistent way to get clients is coming up a lot. Great, excellent. Okay, so what we're going to cover today, first, our four consultant types. We've worked with a lot of consultants. We've got four types that we typically see over and over and over again. We'll see which one you are, and then we'll talk to you about our five foundations framework to achieve the things we just talked about. How do we get those five things? It's our secret sauce. It's really not that crazy. It makes a lot of sense when we share it with you. You're going to be like, oh, yeah, I could do that. We're going to help you identify your personal friction point. Everyone is somewhere different in your business based on how long you've been doing this, what you're offering, where you're located, what kind of clients you're working with. So which foundation is a bottleneck for your business? And then some next steps that we can offer to help you create structure and success within your consulting business. Okay. But first, a little bit about us. You might be new to our world. You might be on our email list or have been on it for a long time. You might see Catalina on LinkedIn, and you might know us from our Instagram account, Relatable Nonprofit. So you maybe have heard a little bit about our story, but we just wanted to share it with you because we are real people just like you who are probably living a very similar career path to what you're going through right now. So over there on the left is me, in the top left corner there, Catalina next to me in the middle. We started working in nonprofits out of college. Catalina and I both went to American University in DC. Catalina was actually my boss for a while. She was my first boss out of college. I was an intern in her development department. We both moved up really fairly quickly in our nonprofit careers. I became a development director. Catalina moved to a foundation and became a program officer. And a few years into our careers, COVID happened. Catalina and I both got married, and we were looking for really just a shift in our careers for more flexibility, more time with our families, more ability to travel. And we both were feeling pretty darn burned out in our current roles. So, around the same time, unbeknownst to each other, we were both quitting our jobs. We reconnected in 2021, and Catalina asked me if I'd like to go in on a business with her, consulting for a nonprofit that we knew in DC. So at that time, we founded Devine and Parker Consulting, and we've been doing that for the last 5 years. And um, sorry, Catalina, I thought you were speaking. And what we realized early on is, what we thought was, oh, well, we'll just let people know we're consulting and they'll hire us. And we don't really have to get too clear on what we're offering. We know how to do a little bit of everything. We've worn all the hats. We've run marketing campaigns. We've done the operation stuff. We've done fundraising. When you're in a nonprofit, you know how to do everything. So we'll just tell people, whatever you need help with, we can help. And that's how we'll build the business. And it took us a while of not getting clients to realize that you actually need to build a legitimate business base um, behind the consulting that you're offering. So once we realized that we needed to build a proper business, that's when everything began to change. So the four types of nonprofit consultants that we typically see, the four stages, and what happens in each one. So for many of you, maybe you're a new consultant. You are maybe still in your full-time job, or you've recently left. Maybe you've been furloughed, laid off, forced into this. Maybe it wasn't really on your bingo card for this summer, but suddenly in the position of having to or wanting to consult instead of going to apply for a job. Common signs that you are a new consultant, or common symptoms I see of new consultants, you're spending a whole lot of time perfecting that website. You don't have clients yet, but that website needs to be perfect, and that's what you're focusing on instead of getting clients. You're taking a lot of networking calls, hopefully, but none of those are really leading to sales. You're not really sure what you sell. You know you can help, but you're not really sure what it is or how that works. Maybe you're posting on LinkedIn, letting people know that you're consulting, and people are like, that's great, good for you, I'll keep you in mind, and crickets. And you're really not sure why you're not getting referrals. Why aren't people telling other people, other nonprofits that I can help them? And you're sitting there kind of sitting on your hands and you don't know what to do next. So that's where we were. I've seen a lot of people in that situation. Anyone in the chat, let us know if this is you right now. All right, number two, and I see the chat going. Anyone? Yeah. Okay, cool. Awesome. I saw someone say that was me last year. So maybe that person who you were new last year, this is you now, maybe. The inconsistent consultant. So you've landed a client or two, but the business still does not really feel like a business. It's pretty unpredictable. And what I have here, my top signs, are you doing maybe free work? You're undercharging for the work because you just want to get a client. Oh, it doesn't matter. Just pay me something, anything, it's fine. Or maybe you're volunteering because you think that's going to turn into a job. I see a thumbs up. You're taking any project and you don't really have a clear sense of what your ICP is, your ideal client profile, people who could actually pay for your services that you're trying to offer. You're taking referrals, but they're random. People are sending you jobs that don't really match what you do, and you're like, oh, I can make that work, I can figure it out, but it's not really what your expertise is in. Um, you're posting online, maybe, but you're not really creating a consistent pipeline that's going to get you clients consistently. So the inconsistent consultant, do we have any of those on the call today? The chat's lighting up. I'm going to take that as a yes. Number three, this is the one that the first stage of consultants, the new ones, are jealous of. They think, oh, you have so many clients. This is so great. You're making money. I wish I could be there. The overwhelmed consultant knows better. You have clients, you have money coming in, but the business feels like a mess, and now you're trapped inside of it. You are working on it constantly. Let me see what I have here. You're overwhelmed, too many services. You're offering too many things. They're too custom. Everyone's got a custom proposal from you. Every job's a little bit different. You need to be involved in every single job, even if you have subcontractors, even if you have an admin or a team working under you, you still need to be very hands-on because you are the one that made the proposal. You alone know how the business functions. You are client facing. So you're too custom. And now all those little free services that you set up, free accounting system or free this or free that, are not supporting your bandwidth. You don't have a way to manage projects. You don't have a way to communicate with your team. You don't have SOPs set up. You don't have any kind of operating system for the business. And you feel like you're an employee again. You're just an employee to yourself. And you have no time off. And you're kind of wondering, why did I get into this? Right? So you're making money. Maybe people in newer stages are jealous of that, but you know that this is not really feeling like a true business because everything still depends on you. So, do we have any overwhelmed consultants on the call today? Anyone? Oh, I see. We have 2.5s. That's great. That's perfect. And then number four, this is what everyone wants to be, okay? This is the sustainable consultant. And it's really pretty simple. You have a steady income that meets your goals. You can actually pay that to yourself on a monthly basis, like you have a paycheck coming from the business, not just taking money from it here and there. You have clear systems. Your work is not custom. You actually have a product suite that you offer. You have a clear niche that you fill. You have a clear type of client that you work with. And your business is running like clockwork. You actually have time for business development, for setting goals, for growth. And ultimately, the business is something that supports your life. And that's not going to be the same for all of you. You live in different places all over the country. You might live in a different country altogether. Cost of life, quality of life, things are different. I have people that I've worked with who are thrilled making 30 to 40,000 a year, and they live in a rural community, and that's what they need to meet their income goals for their family. I've got people in major metropolitan areas in Chicago, in LA, in New York City, and their standard of what they need to make for the year and how they want to run their business are very, very different from someone working in somewhere that is obviously less expensive. So we don't tell people, oh, you have to make 300,000 a year, you have to make 500,000 a year. It can be different, but it needs to be sustainable for you. And the amount of work you're doing, the kind of clients you're taking on, that's all going to factor into what looks sustainable for your consulting practice. Anyone of four? Anyone feel like you're there? Patricia, you say you go from four to three to two, depending on the environment. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely not one and done. We need to always keep improving the business even after we reach this spot. it can kind of backslide if we don't keep it up. Okay, so we've kind of been doing this, but I did want to pull all of you final answers in. Do we have a 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.54? Okay, 1, 2, 2.5. All right, I'm seeing lots of ones and twos, 1.5. Great. Okay. So a lot of beginners on the call is what it looks like. Great. Perfect. All right. So why does consulting feel confusing? You heard when you were full-time in a nonprofit, consulting's so great. You should do it. You'd be great at it. So many nonprofits would benefit from you working with them. And then you started, and now you're like, oh God, what now? Most nonprofit professionals are simply not comfortable or familiar with common business practices. You worked at a nonprofit, you didn't run a business, right? Maybe if you were an executive director, you were on a board, maybe you have that high level leadership experience, you know what it's like to run a nonprofit, and that's definitely going to give you an edge. But you probably have never had to figure out how to package your skills into offers. You've probably never had to figure out your hourly rate, your project rate, your cost to run or to actually perform a project. You probably haven't done your own accounting, tracking expenses and costs every single month. You probably have not had to ever figure out how to find and sell to nonprofit clients. Maybe you've written some grant proposals, but these are feeling a little bit different. Pricing, proposals, scope, setting boundaries with clients, telling them what's in the proposal, what's not in the proposal, actually holding those clients accountable to the proposal, not letting that scope creep happen, which I hear about all the time and we've experienced as well. Um, Maybe you've built systems in a nonprofit setting, but probably never for a complete business ecosystem. And that really is what this is. You have a complete ecosystem that you're operating. You're not just trading your labor for money, right? And you probably haven't ever learned how to think like a business owner. So it's a completely new set of skills that has nothing to do with the consulting expertise that you're providing. This is the back end business development and operations that keeps the whole thing running. So it's new. Why would you know how to do that? We didn't. And this is what we had to learn over the last 5 years. So in January, or actually December, but we released it in January, we ran our first major survey. We have a fairly large audience across Instagram, LinkedIn, our email list. We have about 25,000 nonprofit professionals in our network. And we went out to them and we said, any of you who are consultants, some of you may have participated in this actually. And we had nearly 400 nonprofit consultants specifically respond, and we published it in January. It's called the 2026 State of Nonprofit Consulting Report. It's on our website if you're interested. It's really long, like 100 pages. And we found actually some very promising data. We asked them a ton of questions about their practice, how much they're making, what kind of projects they're running, how they're structuring their pricing. Is it retainers, recurring revenue projects, etc. And we found a few interesting things. Something I don't have on the slide, but something we found is that your niche, it matters to have a niche, but it doesn't really matter what the niche is as long as there's willingness to pay. So we did not find that fundraisers were making more money than strategy or executive coaches or marketers. It doesn't matter that like, oh, the fundraisers make all the money. People say that, but that is not indicated in the survey that we did. But what we did find is that 83% of almost 400 consultants said that demand for their services was stable and growing. And then what we found is that there's a clear distinction between those who said they were actually making money and hitting their goals and those who said they were struggling to build their business. And the higher earners had a very clear business structure. They had high value offers. They had more clients who were on a variety of different projects. So they had some recurring revenue, some project, some retainers, and they had a clear handle on their pricing. The lower earners, people earning less than 25,000 and even less than 12,000 a year, said that they were really struggling with the pricing piece, how to do sales, how to position themselves, have a clear offer, and the actual capacity to run the business. So the bottom line that we took away is that it's not so much about what fancy skill that you're offering. A lot of you, all of you have extremely valuable skills that help in all different areas of consulting or of nonprofits. but your business structure says a lot about how successful your consulting business is going to be. So why don't they buy? Because nonprofits are looking for your services. I know there's a lot of controversy right now with funding being pulled and federal budget cuts and everything going on. Um, and I know there's a lot of shifts in the market. So I'm not saying everything is hunky-dory and nonprofits are doing amazing and they have all this money. No, I'm not saying that. But in this environment, there is actually a need for consulting services because they're competitive, they're more affordable in a lot of cases than hiring a full-time employee. Not always, but sometimes they are. And what we found is that in 2026, demand for these kinds of services are increasing. So why aren't they buying from you, right? You're great. You have so much experience. Why don't they know about you? If you're struggling to grow your business, the problem is probably your pricing, your positioning, your sales structure, your offers, the capacity that you have to run the business, and the systems that you're using to support it. And basically, nonprofits that are out there just don't understand what you do or how you help. The good thing is we can fix that. So now I want to talk to you about what this whole presentation is about, the 5 foundations of a sustainable consulting business. And as we go through, we're going to share with you common signs that we have seen that you're struggling in one of these areas. So I'd love for you guys to follow along and just like you did in the last section, share in the chat. If you're like, yes, I'm doing that. I know I'm doing that. That's definitely a problem I have right now in my business. So number one is the fundamentals. It's really simple. It's what you offer, who you want to help. You can't just say nonprofits. It's not an answer. What you charge, how much does it cost to work with you? A lot of people cannot answer that. And what kind of business you're building. Is it full-time? Is it part-time? Is it coaching? Is it projects? Is it retainers, teaching, strategic planning, leadership? There's so many things you could offer. What kind of business are you building? You can't just say, I'm a nonprofit consultant, right? We need to get clearer than that. So common signs that I see all the time with people who've skipped the fundamentals. We did this. I've seen consultants who've been around for 15 years who have skipped these and they come and talk to us and they're like, yeah, I never really figured that out. I've just been winging it. And I've never been able to go 100% full time because I've never made enough. And it's usually because they haven't done or they have some of these things going on. So if you keep changing your website copy, every week you come up with something new and you add it to the website or you take it off the website. Um, People do not understand what you do. You're trying, people say, oh, what kind of consultant are you? And you're like, you can't really explain it. Your referrals, if you're getting some, are vague or low fit, like don't really match what you do. You have no idea what to charge. You're kind of just making it up, what sounds fair. You don't have an actual pricing cost estimation broken down. Every opportunity feels like a custom project. You're reinventing the wheel every single time. And you're really stuck kind of describing your skills and your work history rather than the results that you are able to create for clients. Does any of that feel like where some of you are stuck right now? Yes, I'm seeing all caps, yes. Okay, great. Great. So to sum that up, that's my favorite thing to say. If nonprofits cannot quickly understand what you do and how it helps, they will not understand why they should hire you. So I'm always saying to nonprofit consultants that we work with, what do you do? How do you help? If you can't answer that in one sentence, then that's where we need to start. 2, marketing. And this is really not as complicated as we think. We don't have to be doing 100 webinars or posting on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, LinkedIn every single day. Absolutely not. We've actually chosen not to be on some of those platforms and just focus on the ones that we're good on. But how do you explain what you do? How do you show up? Is it online? How do you help the right nonprofit clients find you, understand you, and trust you? So there's a big difference between saying that you are a nonprofit consultant who helps nonprofits raise money and saying that you are a prospect research consultant for mid to large nonprofits with budgets above 5 million in the New York City area, right? That's really specific who you work with. And the marketing that you do would reflect that, would talk about the issues that those kinds of consultants or those kinds of nonprofits face and how you can help them specifically with the challenges that they face, right? And over time, that builds trust. So, common signs your marketing is not attracting the right clients. And that can be a very big problem. You've got people coming to you, but you really can't help them. So, you're posting online, but you're not really getting inquiries. People don't understand. They're like, great, cool, like nice post, but they don't understand how to follow that back and actually reach out to you. Your LinkedIn reads like an employee profile. Your website talks more about you and maybe your background than the problem you solve. Things always should be about the client, not about you, right? They should be about what you can help them achieve. People like your content, but they don't know how to hire you. And you're like, why am I on this content hamster wheel if no one cares and wants to hire me? Your messaging changes depending on who you're talking to. I see that a lot. They're like, well, for you, I can offer grant writing because you're saying you need grant writing, but I haven't done grant writing in like 12 years, but I'll do it if you want to pay me, right? That's not a business. You're visible, but people still do not know what you sell. Anyone here? Anyone know that this is a problem for them? Okay, definitely with the marketing. Great. So marketing's not proving that you're smart. And I know that's hard because we feel kind of like an imposter syndrome when we start consulting and we want to prove to everyone, like, I have my CFRE and I'm a member of AFP and I attend this conference every year and I've been doing this for like 2,500 years. I can do it. I can do it, right? That doesn't, people, they want to know that you know how to do what you're selling them, but they don't really care that much about where you went to undergrad. They care about what you should be doing is helping the right person recognize their problem and seeing you as a credible path forward. That's all marketing is. Sales. How do we feel about sales, everyone? So, sales is simply how you turn interest into paid work, right? Through your network, through referrals, partnerships, outreach, sales calls, and clear proposals. Common signs your sales process needs some work. You guys are getting on a lot of networking calls, but they're not going anywhere, right? You're like, that was a really nice call. She was so great. And you're like, yeah, we'll connect sometime. And that's the last you ever hear from that person. Not because they don't want to help you, but because they just have no idea how to help you. You rely on reactive referrals. So you're not proactively reaching out to people that you are sure you could help. You're just waiting for people to kind of send someone your way, or you see an RFP posted online, you apply for it, nothing really happens. Again, we're doing free or discounted work to prove ourselves. And your proposals. We used to have a proposal graveyard of like 30 proposals the first few months that we were consulting. We would talk to people who were a bad fit, who didn't really want to work with us, who didn't have any money or willingness to pay. And we were like, we'll build you that CRM. We'll set this up for you. And we would write these long proposals. We'd take all day on them, send them over, and never hear back. And it was like the most amount of free work we've ever done in our lives, and it was no fun. And so we'd send them, people wouldn't respond back, months would go by, and it was really, really super frustrating. And overall, the problem with your sales process, if it's not working and you're not landing clients, you just don't know how to move people who might be interested in your services to make a decision. And that's a really hard thing to learn. So sales isn't convincing someone to hire you as much as we feel like it is when we're not doing a great job at sales. It's creating a clear decision process around a problem that they already have. So a great consultant knows, and any fundraisers know on this call, that selling is helping. They're talking to you because they probably do have a problem that they need help with. Have you ever met a nonprofit that said where they were problem free and everything's just operating very well and we have very happy staff and there's no burnout and we raise all the money in the world and our programs operate flawlessly and our volunteers are very happy and our board is completely participating in everything we do. They all contribute, they all show up to our events. We're happy as can be. Have you ever met a nonprofit like that? If you have, that's the best nonprofit I've ever heard of. But if you haven't, They probably have some problems that they need solved, and you are probably the cheaper option than trying to hire a major agency or a full-time employee to solve some of those problems, right? All right, great. For client delivery. So this is the problem for those overwhelmed consultants who are in that stage where you have clients, but you're really struggling because now you have to deliver all that work that you figured out how to sell. So you sold, proposals were signed, and now you've got like five clients at once, and they're all custom and they're all a little bit different, and you have to deliver that work while still thinking about where the next clients are going to come from. And if you didn't structure those proposals in a certain way, if you didn't make those scopes clear, if you didn't set healthy boundaries and expectations up front, those clients can get a little unruly and a little difficult to work with. And I know a lot of people that are in that stage. So current client delivery needs more structure. If scope creep is happening regularly, if clients are getting too much access to your time, you've basically become an outsourced staff member instead of an outside expert, right? You do work that was never in the scope. You're building a website for them, and then a grant proposal comes up and they ask if you can write that too, and you don't charge more for it. That's bad. I've seen that happen a lot, okay? You don't do work that wasn't in the scope. Communication is reactive, not structured. You're actually having to chase them down to get approval on things so you can move forward. A 3 week or 6 week project is turning into 12, and you feel like you're now managing that client. At the end of engagements, there's really no effort to renew them or get referrals from them. It's all kind of left to chance. So these are the common client delivery issues. And if you're going through any of those, it can be really, really challenging to figure out how to get out of it because you thought all you needed was to get clients. You never really thought about delivering. So client delivery is where consultants accidentally become employees again. That burnout that you left behind, that toxic boss you didn't like who used to text you at 11 o'clock at night, you've now recreated that cycle by landing clients who treat you like an employee. So without scope and communication systems, you become the flexible extra staff person instead of the outside expert. I'd love to know if any of you have ever been in this situation because we have. And I remember it being really kind of alarming because in my previous full-time job as a development director, I had a couple people on like the leadership team who would text me on the weekends, text me at night, and it was terrible. I hated it. Slack always going off on my phone, having to run and go check my computer, and feeling like I was never off because these people are always bombarding me and saying, like, did this email go out? Did we submit this proposal? Why didn't we get this grant? And I really vowed that that was not going to happen again when we started consulting. And then our second client, poof, immediately she got my cell phone number and she was texting me and saying, hey, can we set up this gala? Can we do this golf fundraiser? Blah, 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 blah. I was like, oh my God, no, this can't happen to me again. And I remember having to send her a text message very clearly telling her that all communication needed to go through email. And I worked Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, and she could not contact me outside of that. And it was a really incredible moment where I realized this is a business. I'm not putting myself in that same hamster wheel of being chased down all the time because it was horrible for my mental health and it really just is not appropriate. So, anyone have that experience? I don't know where the chat went. I'm assuming I see. Yeah. Yeah, we've had this. Very cool. We love that. Okay, 5, growth. How you stop operating like a freelancer and start building systems for your offers, marketing, sales, and operations. So some of you get to the stage and you just want to maintain what you've built. Some of you get to the stage and you want to build an agency. You want to start subcontracting work. You want to start offering a coaching program or a community or things like that. That's really exciting. It can be really difficult. Sometimes if you're just getting all the basics established, but it's also a really exhilarating thing a few years into your business. But you may be struggling to grow because you're booked but exhausted, you're offering too many services, everything still feels custom, marketing's only happening when you have extra energy, anyone's newsletter not go out for 3 months, sales are inconsistent, and your business depends on you being everywhere at once. So basically, if you're not working, the business isn't working, and that makes it really hard to function or grow. What we've learned, and it's been really hard to learn because we always like to add new things and test and try, experiment, is growth usually does not come from adding. It usually comes from simplifying and deleting things that actually are not necessary to the bottom line of the business. Once we figure out what works, we repeat it. And ultimately, growing your business comes from becoming ruthlessly good at prioritizing your time because your time is your main asset as a consultant. All right, poll. Which one do you guys think is the number one bottleneck right now in your business? Marketing, sales, fundamentals, growth, client delivery. Okay. Quality leads, sales, client delivery, fundamentals, and marketing. Okay, great. And of course, it's not isolated. There's never just one thing that you need to fix and then everything else falls into place. It's always a flywheel. You're always working on different parts of the business. And it's all an ecosystem that goes together. And that's the big pattern. Most consultants try to fix foundation problems with more tactics. But think about it. Really think about it whenever you're trying to solve a problem. Do you need more posts on LinkedIn or really just to sit down and think through a clear offer and message? Do you need more networking, more calls, filling up your calendar, free calls, all the time, free calls? We're giving people free advice, right? That happens a lot. Or a guided referral and sales process. Do we need to sit there editing the website yet again at 9 o'clock at night while we're trying to watch TV and hang out with our family? Or do we need to figure out our positioning, something that identifies a real buyer problem? Again, more free calls or a way to qualify leads, more custom proposals, or a repeatable scope and pricing. Tactics are just not going to address the fundamentals. You need to build a business as a complete interconnected system. And what's the real cost of piecing it together? We know because we did it. Months of second guessing, low paid clients that are draining your time. The one that was texting me was one of those. We signed her for half of the rate that we wanted because we were so scared that, oh, we just need another client, we'll take anything. Proposals that never close, we've had 30 or more of those. Offers people do not understand. You've pieced something together. I see AI a lot now. People are just making up these proposals with AI with like very little understanding of how it would actually look to implement this proposal. So like really thinking through what are we trying to offer? Marketing that gets likes but no sales calls, and a business that starts to feel like another job. Problem is not that you're bad at consulting. The problem is that you're building a business without a framework, right? We learned this the hard way. I shared a little bit about that because we were doing what most consultants do. We turned every skill we knew, we put them all on our website as a service. We had like 30 things we could do, and literally no one ever reached out through that website. We took low paid work. We treated networking like a referral strategy. We customized every proposal. We were so busy delivering once we landed clients that we didn't build a system. And we were just stuck in this free advice feedback loop of watching every Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn person that we could see, and nothing really helped. So when we developed our framework and we got real business support, everything changed. And I just like to share this slide. We shared this 2 years ago in our first time we ever talked about our consulting journey. This was our first year consulting. And you can see in the beginning, we were just piecing it together, really had like one or two clients. And then by the end of that first year, when we actually started to put together a proper business, we started hitting real numbers. And I share these because, we're not millionaires, we're not rich, we're not trying to sell you this $1 million scheme, but just to show you what is possible between two mid-level career people who became consultants within that first year of setting up some systems. We were hitting $20,000 months. And I guess this goes through that second year as well. And then we were hitting pretty consistently, still are, upwards of 20,000 a month. So just to show you what it looks like when you do put those systems in place, rather than just piecing it together. So your business needs some structure, right? Every month you wait, you're still making decisions. You're deciding to keep guessing what you offer, avoiding sales, pricing out of fear, building around everyone's needs first. But it usually when you wait and you don't approach these things and address them, it's just going to delay that learning curve. So what I do want to talk about in our last 20 or so minutes here is what we have built with these fundamentals to help you nonprofit consultants who are out there actually build a business that works for your life. So we launched this a little over 2 years ago. It's called the Mentorship Program. It's based on the Relatable Nonprofit brand that you've all seen on Instagram. And in this program, we teach you how to build a clear consulting niche, offer, and pricing. We teach you how to market, become findable and trusted by the right orgs, how to do sales. We do lots of sales trainings, lots of practicing on the calls, one-on-one, and breakout rooms, how to run sales calls, how to deliver for clients, set those boundaries. We just had a really fun one last week where one of our members had someone who was ghosting them, not responding, and we taught them something called a project dead email, which just basically tells them, hey, I'm not working anymore until you reach out and pay me. And they responded in 20 minutes. And it was so cool to see that win. So lots of fun wins in the community. And then we also teach you how to grow. So we have complete comprehensive programming on how to grow into an agency if that's what you want to do, how to set up a coaching program if that's what you want to do, and how to create repeatable systems for income. So here's the before and after of what it looks like when you figure out the fundamentals and the foundations. You go from saying, I can help you with anything to here's a specific problem I solve and the offer I sell. You go from posting and hoping and being on that content hamster wheel and using AI for like hours to try to write posts that no one reads, to messaging that makes the right people understand why they need you. You go from having friendly but not really productive networking calls to clear sales conversations that move toward a decision. You stop customizing everything and you build some real scopes, boundaries, and systems. And the business is finally financially stable with predictable income. So inside the mentorship, how we run it, what we've built after 2 years of studying this and working with over 100 consultants in the program, we have a step-by-step roadmap based on everything that we learned, plus things that we've learned from our own business coaches for how to build out the fundamentals, marketing, sales, delivery, and growth systems. We have group coaching, so weekly live calls. This is the best part of my day. Wednesday, 3 p.m. Eastern. We are live. We're working together, problem solving with consultants just like you. They're a small group. They're amazing. And a lot of collaboration happening there as well. We also have one-on-one strategy sessions, so monthly calls where you meet with me or Catalina, and we sit there with you and you show us your proposals. You show us your clients that you're working with. You show us your messaging, your website, anything, and we're going to dig in there, review, give you feedback, and make sure it works. And the best of all, you get the consultant community. So we have nearly 100 in there currently, on top of the 100 that have gone through the program, and they are just the most wonderful people you will ever meet. I think a few of you are actually on the call. I saw some of you, and it's just the best. Seeing each other build together instead of doing it alone from your couch, from your backyard, from your kitchen table, having people like water cooler chat and people to make recommendations for you, people to refer you business. The stuff that I've seen happening inside the community is really not what we really expected when we built this program, but just such a wonderful part of it that I just can't recommend enough. When you're not doing it alone, it really makes a difference and it gets fun. Here are a few of our consultants who have been in the program in the last year. So you see, we have a ton of different niches too. I like to always point that out because everyone's like, I need to be a grant writer, right? And no, not really. We have operations consultants, prospect research, finance, events and sponsorships, nonprofit leadership, donor retention. And these are all people, specifically Jamie, Condra, Aaron, Mike. All four of them came in with no clients, and all of them are full-time consultants now. And I know Condra just shared with me that she's well past her goals for the year already, and it's only May. So these are all people that we've worked with. I see them every week. They're phenomenal. And the nice thing is when you join the community, I will connect you with people that are a little bit ahead of you in the program so they can talk to you about what they've learned, what they've done, and how they've started landing clients. So investment, if you have ever done a sales call with us before, I do want to note that some things have changed. The program traditionally was 12 months, but we've seen actually that we're getting results much quicker than that now, especially when people are getting in right away, getting onboarded, and starting to um, follow through on the content. So we've shortened it, we've accelerated the program to only 6 months. And then you have the option to stay after that if you want more support, but 6 months to get you up and running in your business, whether you've been consulting for a while and you just need a facelift, you need to go back to the foundations, the fundamentals, or we also have helped a lot of brand new consultants who have never had a client. They maybe still are in a full-time job and they're making that transition. As long as you're committed to consulting and you're committed to doing the work, this program is going to work for you. So we have two options. It's either $597 for 6 monthly payments, or we do want to make it as accessible as possible. So if you pay up front, we're offering it for a 20% savings, just under 3,000. So if you have any old pricing from us, just this is the new pricing going forward. Um, so that's what we have, and we're really excited to do it accelerated now because we can get you results even faster. And we do have our guarantee for you. We stand by this program. We've been doing it for over 2 years. I've seen dozens of consultants hit and exceed their goals. And we're very confident to offer you a guarantee. So if you join in the first 14 days and you really just think you made a mistake, it's not for you, you don't want to consult, money back guarantee. But if you show that you've done the assignments, if you've done the assignments and put in the work in the first 2 weeks and you're not satisfied, we'll refund your investment. But we're very confident that you'll come in and you'll just love it. So that's our promise to you. Common questions, and I'll take a few from the chat as well, but the four that I get all the time, I figured I would just bite the bullet and address them here. I don't have the time right now. Everyone tells us, oh, I'll join later. And we did used to offer this program, by the way, on a rolling basis, and now we're going to this cohort sort of approach because we want to give you even more time from us to focus on building your businesses. But people always are saying to us, oh, just really busy schedule right now. I'm trying to get clients. I'll do this next month. But I've never really seen someone who told me that waiting created more time. Um, and it really just kept the business in the same place. So if you're busy now, I'm a mom of one and I'm currently renovating a house. Busy does not even define what I am right now. I've never been busier in my life. And I don't really expect life to slow down. So that's never really stopped Catalina and I from investing in business support because we know it's important. And every single time it has helped us grow. I'm not ready yet. If you're not ready to consult, that's one thing. Do not join the program if you're not ready to consult. Absolutely. We want you to be committed to doing it. But if you feel committed, you're never going to feel ready. No one ever feels ready. I feel nervous getting on this call with all of you. I never feel ready. But you get ready by doing stuff consistently, having structure, feedback, and support. And um, we try to take the guesswork out of it so that it works faster for you. People say they want to get a first client before they join the program, but it's sort of like a chicken and the egg thing. Most people, it doesn't happen. But if you have do you have a clear plan to get that client, or are you just hoping they're going to fall out of the sky? Once you join the program, I've seen people get a client as soon as 4 weeks, and I've seen that happen more than once. So I can be fairly confident that if you do the content and follow what we tell you to do, you'll get the client. And of course, it feels like a big investment. I get it. It is. We have spent money on our own business coaching programs, and they're not cheap. We try to make this one as affordable as possible. I think this is the best deal we've ever offered on it. But it's the only way to grow. I can tell you that with certainty. Maybe not our program, maybe a different program. You definitely need to go see what else is out there, see if ours is the right fit for you. But if you know that you need some support to get to the next stage, investing in your business is really the best way to do it. So if you're ready to join, ready to stop piecing it together, we are opening enrollment today and through the next week until June 4th. The doors will close, so please make sure that if you're interested, reach out to us. Catalina will drop the enrollment link in the chat now if you want to take a look, see if it's for you, but it will be open for the next 7 days. And as soon as you join, we will enroll you immediately. You can be onboarded. You'll meet with me personally. We'll work out your plan and you'll be good to go for the next 6 months. So we'd love to see you there. We really appreciate you taking the time to meet with us today. And we have a few minutes left for questions if anyone has any.
Julia, I've been answering questions in the chat here, but I had a couple of that I wanted you to elaborate a little bit on because
Yep.
they require a little bit more. But so we have somebody asking, I'm hoping to turn my most recent employer into my first client. We're ending my employment on good terms. Do you have any tips for approaching and pitching? So making them an anchor client, basically.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. We did that ourselves actually, not with a previous employer, but with an organization that we'd worked with. Actually, we did that twice because Catalina, we did that with another one as well. It's great. That's a great idea. If you have open communication with them, then absolutely start that conversation. If you're leaving anyway, that's even better. Make sure that you create a clear proposal with a clear scope of what would be included versus not included compared to your previous role. So don't just say, I'll do all the fundraising, like that's what you were doing in your previous role. We can set a lot more boundaries as consultants than we seem to be able to do as employees for whatever reason. Um, Price it, you know, factoring in that maybe you're working less hours, but they're not actually having to pay your benefits. So the pricing should take that into consideration as well. And I think it's a great idea. Anyone else, Catalina?
Let's see. I had one other one. Where did I put it here? For somebody that's dreaming about going into consulting, they don't feel like they have enough experience just yet. Where do you recommend starting? More certifications, tools, any advice on that?
Yeah, I think first you have to ask yourself, do I really not have the experience or do I just feel like I don't? So if you're just out of college and you don't have any meaningful work experience, then I would say go get some experience working in nonprofits. If you're like mid-level in your career, look at what you've done in the last few years. Have you worked on anything in particular? Are you specialized in some kind of fundraising or program work or leadership work, operations, anything like that that you can specialize in? We teach you in the program how to do market research to figure out if there's willingness to pay and demand for what you want to be offering. So, I think you really need to look at that first. Certifications can be nice, like we did a lot of CRM setup for fundraising teams. So we got certified on the couple CRMs that we were offering support with, which was very helpful just to say, hey, we're credentialed. We've actually taken their course on how to use this program. But that was like, contributing directly to the work that we were doing. I don't think that you just need to pile on certifications just to prove that you're, good enough. Anyone else?
I don't think there were any. I'm trying to. Oh, somebody had a question about, sorry, I'm still trying to answer these guys. Can you help me determine how much money I can generate in my market? Just maybe speak on like the ranges we have, different members with what services they're offering and what clients they're working with, maybe.
Like your I mean, it depends. The average hourly rate that we got in our survey was $151 an hour, was the average hourly. Again, depends on where you are in the country and what you're offering and all of that. But in the survey, and you can look at it on our website, people were making anywhere from 25,000 up to 500,000. I was seeing it was more than one person who was at the 500,000 level. I did see someone raise their hand. Was that Cynthia?
Yeah, I had another question about specialization and niches. And so, like you said, I've done it all, and I don't know actually exactly what to offer. I brought it down to three different offerings, but but they're actually, very different. And so I'm an attorney and a nonprofit executive and a fundraiser. So I made an offering for each one. But my question was just, does it ever make sense to have more than one niche? Like I understand all the benefits of having a niche. My question is like, can the niche be like these offerings for, healthcare nonprofits and that's the niche, or does it
Mhm.
have to be like your skill set is niched?
No, it can absolutely be the kind of nonprofit you work with. If it's healthcare organizations, you can do that too. You could say, I provide legal services for healthcare organizations. The more niche I've seen, it's clearer, at least easier from a marketing perspective.
Hmm.
You
Hmm.
don't need to throw out the other things that you know how to do. You just need to be able to lead with something that makes sense. And typically, what we teach in the program is when you do your market research in the first phase, we have you establish two things, demand, but also willingness to pay. So I've seen people want to come in and offer things, and they're like, like so many nonprofits want this. They want board management support. Right. But then do they want to pay for it? Like,
Right,
not,
right.
and there's a lot that do. But it may not be what the one that you think, the service that you think is like, oh, they would benefit so much from this. They just do not see a reason to pay for that for whatever reason. And it's actually this other service that they're like, oh yeah, I could see a fit for that. Like, absolutely. So that's what you need to test a little bit in the market. And
Mm.
then if you work with them on one of these things and then they say, oh, well, I know you helped us with fundraising, but we actually have this legal issue. They're like, well, actually, I can do that too. That's fine. Don't ever turn away work when you need to get paid, but just how you lead with it in the marketing makes a difference to help people understand like how you can help them.
Thank you so much. Do you all help with figuring that part out in terms of market research, or is that something that just has to be tested locally and with your offerings?
We give you the basically a project. So we give you the templates for what to ask, who to reach out to, how to run the conversations, and then how to take all of the data that you collected and put it back together, and then we review it with you. So we
Okay.
don't actually go out and do the market research for you because there's so many people and there's so many
Mhm.
different specialties, but going through that exercise usually reveals a lot about what you thought you wanted to offer and then what you actually offer.
Gotcha. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Two more questions, Julia. Somebody's asking about, have you worked with consultants who specialize in environmental or conservation orgs? And secondly, someone else is asking, can you help expand services geographically doing remote work? So going from like a local service base to I guess beyond that.
Yeah, yes. Yes to both. We have absolutely had quite a few people in the program who work with environmental organizations. I've seen like I've seen like civic, like urban planning and like green spaces. I've just seen environmental stuff in general. Absolutely, yes. And then as far as expanding from local to remote, we never did local. I'd actually love to in the future, but we just didn't. When we built our business, we've worked with people in like Thailand, I think was our furthest away client that we worked with. We've worked on different time zones, Vermont, South Carolina, Seattle. We've never actually had a local client base. So if you do, I have people in the program who just do local. I have people in the program who work with anyone across the country, and I have a mix. So I've absolutely seen it. It works, either way. We'll take one more, or are we good?
I think that I was just answering, somebody is saying what happens after the 6 months.
Yeah, after the 6 months, two options. Either you can consider continue on a monthly basis for just a monthly subscription, or if you feel like you've gotten enough support but you'd like to retain community network access, we offer 97 a month access to just the community. So that's a great way to stay involved, networking, even if you feel like you got enough from the program. Is that it? All right, guys. Thank you so much for being here today. We're so thankful to get the chance to spend an hour with you. If you have any questions, you can reach us through relatablononprofit.com. You can email us at our support email, and we'll send out a follow-up email with a replay here as well in a little bit. All right. Thank you guys so much. We really appreciated it.